Happy New Year! I hope everybody had a great vacation and are well rested and ready to get back into the swing of things. I know I had a great 2 weeks off. We had some family in town and went up to Philadelphia to visit my wife's friend who has kids that are close to our kids' ages. Um, at any rate, let's go ahead and jump into 2019, but just before we do, let's reflect a little bit back on 2018. Let's think about the conversations that we had around student-led assessment and creating a learner-centered environment. With both of those, one of the underlying themes, I believe, was motivation. We talked about motivation in terms of intrinsically with Daniel Pink. We also talked about grades and how those can be used in a carrot and stick type manner. Regardless of the approach or whether it's intrinsic or external for a student, it is a challenge for all of us. And as we continue to design a learner-centered environment, we're going to be taking a look at Caitlin Tucker, and she introduces this next section about blended learning modules with her own struggles of motivating her students and how taking a blended approach changed her approach to teaching and how her students learned.
As educational architects, our goal is to disrupt how we do school. We will do this by immersing ourselves in the goal as learners and doers. Back in December, we began to revisit the meaning of a learner-centered environment. Let's revisit this learning. We began by talking about the physical and virtual environments of contemporary businesses. Specifically, we took a look at General Motors and what they were doing to redesign their physical and virtual work environment in order to attract the most talented employees. Next, we had a puzzle discussion around Jennifer Hedges' classroom. We looked at her physical environment as well as her virtual environment and had a lot of questions around what the students were doing and how they were learning. Next, we introduced 3 driving questions. Take a moment to refamiliarize yourself with these as they will guide us as we go forward. So, where does that leave us? How do we begin to put our learning into action? For the next several Intersession learning opportunities, we will explore different blended learning models. It's important to note that there is not one best design. You should design your modern learning environment in consultation with your students and their needs. So, quick question. How many of you have incorporated stations in your classroom? I know for me, this is something I used to do several times a year. And it was always something I kind of had to retrain students to do or reintroduce it to them because it wasn't something that we did all the time. I know stations are very prevalent in the elementary school and something they do quite frequently. In fact, I was in my daughter's 2-year-old classroom a few weeks ago and they were learning how to rotate through stations independently, which was pretty neat to see. So this one, our first blended learning model will explore the station rotation, and we'll be dividing this one into 2 parts.
Well, you might be saying great, but how is the station rotation a blended model and what are the benefits? Tucker makes these 3 points about the advantage of the station rotation model. Over the next few weeks, we'll explore that question and others and apply it to our own learning. In this learning opportunity, you'll be tasked with creating a station rotation lesson. You might try to create something new or convert it in an existing lesson. More details will be provided in the Google Classroom assignment. As always, I look forward to exploring your learning with you. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week.